Hello, welcome back to our course for learning Python. In this video, we are going to see how to use arrays in Python programming language. Basically, the arrays are divided on three main types, which are lists, tuples, and dictionaries. The first one to see is lists. To declare a list in Python, all you have to do is just write your name of, your variable. You give it a name. For my case, I will use this one. Don't use list because it is a reserved word. I will use this one. Equals to. Now I open brackets. These two brackets. Now we have declared an empty list of size 0. We don't have any element here. Let's check the type of this variable. Print type list1. As you can see, we have a class list. This is an object from class list. Now, how you give it give your values for this variable? For example, you have we enter our values here for 2 minus 100 1, and this is it in Python. It's so easy. Unlike some other programming languages, you have to specify the length, and not for all them. For example, for C, you have to specify it, which is not the case for Python. It's so easy. Now we can print our list now. And here we go. We have our values here, are the same exactly. You can see that our values are all integers, and this is not obligatory in Python. You can give, for example, a string here. Name it June. I don't know. No, sorry. Python file. Now let's see the output. It gives exactly this list. As a result, a list in Python do not have to be of the same type. We can have different types here, which is normal. This is a float, this is an integer, and this is a string. It works. Now let's see the operations we can use on this list. Since it is an object, then it has many functions that they can operate on this this object. Again, we will talk about this mechanism of objects and classes in later videos. Now let's just focus on implementation. We write our variable, our object's name, this one, and then a dot. As you can see, the functions are popped up. You can see many functions here in English, and I think you can understand what it does exactly. For example, let's use the clear, and we print again our list. So it was full of values at the beginning, and now it has no value. The clear will delete all values here. Now suppose we want to use another function here, not the clear. Okay, let's declare this again. List1 dot. Now we want to add a value at the end of this file. To do this, clearly we use the append function, and then we open the parentheses and we put our value when we want. For example, I want to add 0. Now we print our list. see what happens. You can see the value of the 0 here. It came here. It came here now, and it's so easy to add the value. You can't do this many times. For example, here. Lists are cool, and then we print again our list. Let's run this file and see what happens. Okay, our string here came here, and the object you want to add, you don't have to put it here like this. It is optional. You can put it a variable first. For example, variable 1 equal to the string, and here we put v1 and run file. It's the same result. So that's it for the append and the clear. Now let's see how we can use the other functions. Let's try to add another list. I want to concatenate two lists. Let's declare list here, v2 equal to 23, and then list 1 append v2, which is another list, as you can see now, and then we print this again. Let's see what happens exactly. Now these two values are considered as a single object that will added at the end of the list. This is not a concatenation. It's like we have this element which is a list. You may want to do this, but let's assume that we want to concatenate these two lists. I mean, these two values will be added here. For this purpose, we will use the extend function. Now let's run and see what happens. We have our two values here, 122 and 123 are concatenated with the previous list, and not appended as a list here. And this is it for extend. Now let's see another function for the lists, which is count list1 dot count. This count it counts how many an object is repeated. For example, if we type 4 in the list, we have only one 4, then it will show the, let's name this n, and then print the n. It displays 1 here, and because we have only one 4, then this function counts how many times this object here or this member is repeated in our list. Now let's see other functions. For this purpose, I'm going to use the Python IDE. I'll just write Python here. This would be more easier to work on. Let's declare a list, any list, list1, and L1 equals to 7.1, yes, 2010. Well, let's see why it is easier, because if I write here the variable name, it directly shows the output. It shows the value of this object. Now let's use the other functions that we was talking about. But before that, I have to specify one thing: how we can access the list. Because we have here, for example, we have 4 values. I wanna get only this value here. Yes. To do this, it's easy. We use L1 and then we open these brackets. Inside the brackets, I write the index of this element. How to find the index? We start by 0 from the 7. 7 is 0. Then the index of this element is 1, and the index of this element is 2. If we write 2 and click enter, it displays this value here. For 2010, it's the same. L1 dot between parentheses 3 and it displays the 2010. We can't access other numbers because we don't have any, so it shows error if we do so. For it says list index out of range. Now this is it for indexes. Now let's use the index function. The index returns an index of an element. You write the list name, then dot index. Here it says return the first index of a value. For example, let's write in 1 here. It shows 1 because its index is 1. Let's try to use the yes L1 dot index. Yes, it gives 2 because our index of this yes is 2. Sometimes we get confused how to use the functions. For this purpose, write your object and then your function, open the parentheses, and then Python will show informations you need. For example, we will use the here L1.index, then open the parentheses. Now it shows this text. For example, here it says the value we are looking for, then from where it starts and where it stops, the indexes, and then it returns the index of the first value, because when a value is repeated, this function doesn't return all the indexes, it just returns the index of the first value. And that's it. Now let's use the insert function. Type insert. Here we put the index. For example, I want to add a 1, and this one I want no, just let's add 2. I want these 2 to be placed here between yes and 1. We count the index. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. We write 2 and see what happens. Add 1. Now we have to replace the yes, and the yes shifted to the right. We have our value here inserted, our value, which is this is 1, inserted at the index 2. Let's use this again. L1 dot insert at index 3. Hello. Let's print the list. Now we have at index 3 hello is inserted. and these are the functions you mainly need in lists. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please ask me in comments. And see you for next video. We talk about tuples and dictionaries. Ciao.